Listen, in 2026, your money is constantly moving through banking systems, guard railways, digital payment systems that you cannot control. And the banks are not being quite honest with you either. In fact, in 2026, this system is changing faster than anyone can even realize. Changes in crypto regulations, there are some things that are coming to pass just next month that will allow Ripple XRP to function as more of a stable coin, to function more outwardly and openly. And you need to be aware of this, not just as an expat, but also as an American, as a human on this earth. The reality is global payment systems and foreign exchanges are currently exposing a much deeper truth. Now let's talk about the banking illusion, because your money is a claim and not an actual asset. A bank balance is not necessarily physical money. It's a liability of the bank, a digital ledger entry, and a claim you can redeem under certain conditions. Some of those conditions include that the amount needs to be lower than whatever set amount Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, Huntington Bank, whoever it is sets. As long as that money is under a certain amount, they don't have issues sending your money to you, right? Or another regulation issue that they have is if you're using those banks, they will not want you to live in places maybe in sub-Saharan Africa. In fact, if you were to log into your bank from these locations without a VPN, sometimes even with a VPN now, you could be locked out of your system, okay? See, here's the thing. Modern banking operates under fractional reserve systems where deposits are not fully held in cash. Instead, your funds are lent out, invested, circulated through financial markets so that the banks can profit. And as someone that's a finance marketing director in my marketing firm, working with credit unions, tax relief companies, banks, I can tell you from the inside out, these systems are built on super hyper capitalism. In essence, this means that your money is basically already in the financial markets before you ever spend it or pull it out. Now, Visa has already quietly claimed and confirmed the shift that's happening. If you were to pay attention to Visa's headlines like I have been doing the past couple of weeks, then you will come to one conclusion. The fact that this global payment network, Visa, that's used basically everywhere in the world, you can use a Visa or a MasterCard everywhere. Discover, not so much. You're not going to see Discover in Africa, all like that, okay, especially on the island nations, so be aware of that. But Visa has already confirmed the integration of crypto-linked payment systems like XRP, like Bitcoin, expansion into blockchain settlement systems, and reduced alliance and allegiances with traditional banking intermediaries, meaning Visa is basically becoming more like PayPal, and they're not relying on the banks. And this stuff started literally probably in the age of PayPal. I think PayPal came about in the late 90s, early 2000s. And it was revolutionary because before you had to go to a bank, but then after PayPal and Stripe and all these different payment processors, you can process and move money without the traditional bank. Now, you should know this aligns with a broader industry shift that you need to understand. Payments are becoming currency agnostic systems. So instead of US dollar to your bank to the merchant, we are actually moving towards something that's much different. Assets, networks, and settlement layer that can be produced with fiat currency like the US dollar, the euro, the won, the yen, or stable coins, or crypto coins like XRP and Bitcoin. And get this, there's actually a nation on the planet that just completely changed the game. Let me know down below if you know what that nation is before I get into it. Now, for this nation that is not America, XRP is going to be at the center of their financial system and their regulations. As of April 2026, this nation approved legislation to reclassify cryptocurrencies as financial instruments under a securities law. This is enormous, and this nation is none other than Japan, okay? And that's not a coincidence, because Japan is ready to move crypto to just like this thing that was on a ledger, a digital coin thing, whatever, to an actual payment tool, a financial asset that people can use to purchase property, to purchase groceries, to do cross-border trading, to do whatever they would like to do. So crypto is now looking like stocks, bonds, and institutional instruments, which is totally going to flip the current banking system that we have, which is why secretly behind the scenes, wealthy people, doctors, lawyers, people that are in finance are slowly realizing, hey, if they've been in America all this time, it's time to liquidate and exit America, because what is coming to the United States is a super Great Depression that you do not want to be in attendance for. Now, before I get into the functionality of what XRP is, I just realized that this brought me to something that I should really tell you about. It is currently April 19th. May 3rd is about 2 weeks away or so, or maybe a little bit less, either one. But on May 3rd, we are doing cohort 8 of the Mature Adult Intensive. My husband and I were speaking, we're like, where has this time gone? It's already basically May. We're nearly halfway through the year. July will be here in no time, and people are looking to exodus from America in record numbers. I'll tell you, we have been outside of America for 6 years, have helped over 1,063 clients and counting to exit America, to become expats all across the world, including places like Turkey, Thailand, Tanzania, Kenya, Mauritius, South Africa, all across the world, literally, even Korea. That's been something new with clients lately, where it's just super, super global. But we were talking, we were like, oh my gosh, this year is going by so quickly. We have never seen this amount of people all want to leave America at the same time. And they are people who are wealthy, they're well-to-do, they're not struggling in America. They, like us, their business exploded before they left America. And so for them, it's like, wow, with this increase that I have, do I really want to waste my time, waste my money, waste my peace, waste the rest of my life in a system that is basically doomed from the start? Because remember, America is truffling with a $38 trillion in debt. So if you are exhausted from trying to figure it out all alone, you like conversations like this, you have been looking to go to places like Rwanda, Kenya, Mauritius, then the Mature Adult Intensive could be for you. Go to www.journeywithusmovetoafrica.com/services to read the enrollment guide and see if it's the right fit. Now, the legal remedies that Japan just put in now signals a level of clarity for XRP to become the main system. Now, XRP is focused on cross-border settlements, okay? So literally, as an expat, XRP should be in your vocabulary. If you are an expatriate, if you are a traveler, if you're an entrepreneur that does business in different currencies and you have different currency accounts, you should know what XRP is, because it is the next system that's going to replace SWIFT. SWIFT, as it stands, is a network built by the Europeans that you can use to transfer US dollar to Mauritian rupee, US dollar to Kenyan shilling, US dollar to South African rand. But SWIFT takes a little bit long. SWIFT isn't all that quick, because here's the thing with crypto. Crypto is instant. XRP is instant. And so if you were to send over XRP's ledger to somewhere in Japan, because it's already legal in Japan, then you would get paid instantly through that network without using SWIFT. Now, here's the issue with this for the Western world. This does destabilize the Western world, because if you don't need that Western world SWIFT system for trade, and you're on this system that's just like independent, that everybody can use, hence why Iran is wanting to collect their oil and their coins in cryptocurrencies that they have not outwardly said which ones they're using. If you don't have to depend on those players on the west side of the world, then the east side of the world and the global south will continue to increase no matter what's happening with the west. And this is literally why wealthy people, smart people, even Jewish people are looking at America and they're like, you know what, I need to get out now. You know what, I was raised in a Jewish community from ages 5 to 18, and I happen to be a believer of the full Bible, okay? Keeping the feast days, all those fun things, but something that's very prominent in that lifestyle and way of life is generational wealth and intra-family dominance, meaning everything has to circle around the family unit. Meaning wives and husbands are not out in all the places doing all the things. I mean, probably some of the elites are, but just regular people are super, super focused on their households and their children, meaning they will go across the street and say, hey, I bought Billy Goldstein this house because he just got married. He's our son. We just bought his house for him because we want to give him a stash of resources that he can depend on. This is the mindset of people who are Jewish or people who also follow Torah and believe in the Bible, okay? And so there's a lesson that you can take from this, and I'm so glad I actually grew up around this type of mindset, is that they're going to be able to establish legacies for their families and continuously do it the same way Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did, because they are so focused on their children versus in America with most random, people that are just like regular Americans. They don't think like that. They kick their children out at 18. They don't provide houses for them. They won't even help them if they're in labor and delivery. They don't even do nothing, right? A lot of Americans are very selfish like that towards their own children, but the Jewish, they are nothing like that. People who actually follow the Torah and the New Testament, they function completely differently. Even when you're thinking about business, they don't have these complaints of, oh my gosh, it's so hard, oh, it's too difficult, oh, like they're just gonna figure it out and do it. That's something that I wanted to share with you, because you need to have that type of mindset if you're going to be building generational wealth, which is why you'll find a lot of these families with those beliefs traveling to countries like Thailand, like Mauritius, like South Africa, going to areas where it's more affordable, even if they have millions of dollars. The main thing about acquiring and keeping and retaining wealth is that if you have millions of dollars, you don't go squander it everywhere. My father used to say that word all the time as a child. I can hear it replaying in my head. Do not go squander all of your money. He would always say that. And so that's something that I just hear in my head all the time, which is why I'm such a retainer of wealth and someone that's very much aware of, hey, if you live somewhere that's less expensive, obviously you retain more of your wealth. This is something that everybody should be aware of, because this is how people are going to be wealthy and not in a famine in the last days. Now let's get to the numbers, shall we? Because Japan is actually targeting 12 to 13 million crypto users, 34 billion in held assets, a reduced 20% tax rate to attract capital. Wow, that's big. I did not realize that one was on the horizon. I think that's excellent. I live in a country with a flat 15% corporate tax rate. And if you happen to be in AI innovation, then your tax rate is reduced even further, okay? But let's also talk about why XRP matters. And it's not just about the price and the fact that you can get a good entry right now. So XRP's core use case has always been fast, low cost, cross-border payment settlement systems. Okay, remember I told you, SWIFT takes 1 to 5 days. They have high fees. They have multiple intermediaries through all of these different banks, whoever's partnering with whoever to do things. But the XRP model arrives in seconds, reduced costs, and direct liquidity routing, meaning if you need your money to be liquid quickly, it's not going to take days anymore. It's going to take 1 to 5 seconds. Now, obviously, Japan is leading this regulatory shift by accelerating their use case and allowing their banks to integrate XRP into their financial system. So this should be really interesting to watch if I were you. I would definitely be paying attention to Japan right now. I'd be paying attention to their stocks, not saying invest in it, but just pay attention, just watch and see what's happening behind the scenes in Japan, because here on Journey With Us, we are knowledge seekers. We like to learn, we like to evolve, we like to know what's going on, right? Now, foreign exchange is actually where you quietly lose your wealth, unfortunately. Most people lose their money on Forex without even realizing it, especially if you're an expat trading between US dollar and all the other currencies that you could potentially be trading in. The global Forex market volume is $7.5 trillion daily, but retail users often lose 5 to 15% per conversion cycle with fees and spread. Currency volatility also directly impacts purchasing power. And an example of this is if you earn in USD, you spend in another currency, you transfer internationally through some of the top international bank accounts that you should know about, that our clients know about, you should know about them, such as Wise. But Forex is not just trading. It's the hidden tax that is established on global movement, which is exactly why XRP exists. Oh, and if you haven't noticed, expats are technically already ahead because we tend to hold multiple currencies. I'm actually exposed not only to USD, Mauritian rupee, used to be exposed to Tanzanian shilling, but I'm also exposed to yuan. I'm exposed also to euro. I have accounts in different currencies for a specific reason. We also already use cross-border payment systems and understand how money flows with timing and costs that are brought into consideration. So, more importantly, we do not think of where is my money, but where holds the value in a system right now? Like, where is my value being held? Where are my business assets being held? How can I diversify so that I have better exposure while still being an American citizen? And here's the thing, the biggest risk is not your money just disappearing out of thin air. The biggest risk is you being both physically and economically locked into one currency, paying silent Forex losses, and being dependent on one banking system. Oh my goodness. As systems shift, access and efficiency matter much more than your balance. Visa's expansion, Japan's regulatory shifts, and XRP becoming a more dominant model is not a mistake. This is the point of no return. We are going into the direction where money is becoming a system and not a storage unit. Listen. If you're still thinking about money as something that just sits in one place, that doesn't have to work for you, or that you can still depend on a W-2 employer in the age of AI with all of these layoffs, then you are thinking completely wrong and you're already behind, because in 2026, the people who understand movement are going to control the outcome, not just for themselves, but for the generations that are established after them. But hey, I think that's a wrap for this video. Again, visit www.journeywithusmovetoafrica.com/services to see the enrollment guide for the Mature Adult Intensive, or to see our free resources, because I blog on there pretty consistently. And if you're like, wow, I really like the information you put out, then you will love the blogs that I also have on the website. Also go to www.tiffygwrites.ai if you're an entrepreneur, consultant, if you're in finance, if you're in real estate, e-commerce, and you need to get your marketing together before AI takes all of your business outcomes. Go to my website, links in the description. I'll see you next time.